20 years after the end of the water dispute, was supposed to make it so cheap to produce 1,000 flowers of blue, every digital persuasion kind of newspaper. 20 years on, of course, it was very different. I asked you then whether you were confident about survival newspapers, particularly in the West. And you said, I'm pretty certain that the Guardian will survive. We've got a very strong brand. And we're less certain about how long we will survive paper on paper, all sorts of problems that we have. What have you learned since then that may either confirm your view or change or alter it in terms of how financial model for journalism, irrespective of whether it's paper and ink or whether it's that we may actually get paid for professional journalism to survive? What scientific practice have you kept over the last year?
Can we expect one more question, please?
Yes, about 20 minutes ago you made a remark about Parliament sort of not facing up to the challenges. I just wonder what you would like to see Parliament do. Well, you made a rather sort of passing remark of all the institutions that isn't facing up to the future that the newspaper industry faces. It's Parliament. And that may not be a fair question, but do you have anything particular in mind for Parliament to do?
Well, on the financial short answer, I don't know. I haven't changed my opinion from my consistent. I think the Guardian will be there for a very long time, and forever. Whether that will be in print or digital, I don't know. I think about it. But I love newspapers. For years I've been sort of drawing a very crude picture of print going like that and digital going like that, and I always knew there was going to be a huge gap in the middle, and there is, and then of course recession comes along, and that makes it a catastrophic size. The two lines were never going to meet, so there was always going to be, this was always going to be an incredibly difficult period. So I don't know about financial models. Parliament, I don't know where to begin really. I mean, David Putnam will be answering that question. I think there are, some incredibly interesting work that David and Lena Kennedy and others have done in terms of looking up Parliament and reforming it and making it more accessible in ways that I think I described in ways that other people are beginning to take Parliament and expose it in all kinds of interesting digital ways. And it seems to me the work that David and Helena did was highly prescient in terms of analysing this sense of disassociation between what goes on in Parliament and outside. And I think there is a real feeling of disempowerment and disconnection between citizens and voters and what happens in House of Commons at the moment. And that part, journalism obviously ought to be part of the function of Parliament too.
Two more questions. One here, one there. David? Yes.
Okay. I'm David Levy from the Reuters Institute in Oxford. Two questions about money, one about revenues and one about expenditure. On the expenditure side, you painted a very optimistic picture of social media as a source of news gathering, essentially, and bringing in lots of resources that a newspaper like Guardian couldn't afford to mobilise itself. But then you had a slightly sort of throwaway line about, well, of course, all these people did the stuff about sun and oil, but then you checked it. So my question to you on that is, what's the balance of resource looking like in Guardian about how much effort you have to put into checking stuff you get in, as against old-fashioned use of money that we would spend on news gathering? And the second question, also linked one, is about revenues. When you look at those 900,000 people who are followers of the Guardian technology site on Twitter, surely we must think it would be nice if some of them maybe just paid a penny each. Have any plans for that?
Another question.
My name is Peter Kyle from the ACUBO, the Association of Chief Executives of Voluntary Organisations. I was the last couple of decades, there's been a huge growth in the comment section of most newspapers, and now sandwiched on the other side is you're going to be publishing a lot more crowdsourced comment, which is essentially comment which is coming from the general public, some of it anonymous, some of it named, some of it sort of homogenous and lumped together. Can you just say a few words about the role of experts and where they sit in the middle? I mean, I and a number of other people I sense become increasingly frustrated at the lack of educative value of a lot of the media, particularly in critical reporting and the process of politics, as well as the personality of politics. So I'm wondering if you can see where experts sit in that and how you can still be educative and challenging to your readership when a lot of media is sandwiched either end by comment.
Cost of verification.
Well, I mean, the point is, I was not the cheapness of the exercise was not the main point, but I think that is an example of something where it's clearly, in terms of resource, what the technology team did, they couldn't have done themselves. The Wall Street Journal, I think, is a much larger technology team. So it's an exercise that just wouldn't have happened unless we could have accessed that resource. And I'm guessing that as the finances of news organisations become more precarious, there will be a large role for that. And the functions of some journalism will change to more verification and checking material. So I think the skills of journalism will change without in any way wanting to downplay the importance of reporting. The question of how you monetize those 900,000 is deeply interesting. Again, that's not my job. But I do think, I think you've got those 900,000 people who have come in voluntarily, and you then think, what would they pay for? So, and then let's take a sort of fanciful. Who would those 900,000 people, big technology people, most likely to spend time with? Let's say it's Steve Jobs. Is he the most interesting man in technology? I don't know. Let's say he is. So, what would be the forums in which you would put Steve Jobs in touch with those people for anything between 1 penny and £10,000? So you might get a very small number. Who, if you could persuade Steve Jobs to spend an hour in the room with them, might spend a lot of money. So I mean, it needs cleverer, more commercial people than I. But I just think that is a huge community of people who have come to the Guardian. And that slide I showed you with you've got the legal correspondent and the education correspondent, and if you had enough of those stars around whom people started, that's why we reorganised the Guardian by pods, by subjects, in order to build these pools of expertise, which probably leads me to segue into the next subject, which are this role of experts. I don't know if they're experts, but they're specialists. And I absolutely think the role of specialists on papers like the Guardian is crucial. We need we now have. When I joined, when I became editor, we had one person covering science and one person covering the environment. We now have about 8, of whom 5 have got PhDs in the subject, because it seems to me that is the most useful job that the Guardian can do, is to disentangle the science and help people to understand it and lead them to choose between, to understand to find their way through the complexity of a subject like climate change. And so I absolutely believe in the role of expert journalists who can understand and practice those.